Hello, I'm good.
Hey, good, good. Uh, I was just talking about George Brabazon. So it was my other group on Wednesday mornings that wanted to learn George Brabazon, and we looked it up. And I looked it up in the O'Carolan book, and there are two called George Brabazon, which I was surprised about. And the one is now I don't know if you guys have ever heard it. Let me just play it because you might have heard it. It's a very popular O'Carolan tune. Let me see. Yeah. So is that familiar?
Yes.
Okay. So Astrid probably never heard it. How about you, Heather? Have you ever heard that?
No, just in the last half hour,
Okay.
as I looked them up.
Okay, right. Anyway, so it is a fairly popular one, and it's lovely. It's such a nice tune. Like it's just very simple little tune. I've played it a lot at weddings. I remember playing it a lot at weddings. Hold on here. Okay. Now the other one, I did not know about its existence, and it is called the first air. So the one that we're familiar with, or at least some people are familiar with, is actually the second air. So the first air goes like this, and I find that it has a real medieval sound to it. Isn't that neat?
Hmm.
And it would be, I don't know, 16, late 1600s, something like that. Early 1700s. So it's not medieval, but it's close.
Do you have scores of those, Jan, or can we
I,
learn them? Or
oh, we're gonna learn them. I thought I emailed them earlier.
oh, I didn't know that.
Let me see here. Make sure I got your address right. Let's see. Yeah, you're on
I
there.
didn't check my emails all day. Isn't that great?
Peters underscore six. Yeah, you should.
Yes. Maybe I'll just go check.
Sure.
You sent them at lunchtime, or
Yep, somewhere around there.
okay, I'll be right.
No problem. I can also put them on my screen, but anyway, yeah, I'm really like this the little jig. Like it's so nice. And anyway, so but we'll start with the one that's more familiar because it makes more. The thing is about the little jig is that the second part is kind of odd. It doesn't have very much repetition, and it's not like a typical tune. Whereas the second air, what they call the second air, does have a typical setup. So we'll start with that one. Where did it go? So bad with my computer.
And there's no repeats in any of them, is there?
Yeah, now that's true, and
Well,
and I got these versions out of the Carolyn. I'll show you the book.
okay.
This
The
is
first year, the two lines are the same.
yeah, I know it. So this is the book,
Carol Ann.
and
Oh,
that's
not bad.
actually what his name was. Everybody says "Oh Carolyn" now, but his name was actually just Carolyn. There was no O. That was kind of
Huh.
added after the fact, I guess. I don't know. But this is kind of the definitive book that everybody uses. It's a really good, well laid out sort of collection of his music, and it's indexed by patron. So the whole first couple of sections there are just by patron because that's usually how he labeled as tunes after the people that he was staying with. And then at the end are some sort of randomly labeled. And also, they're not all the same either. There's different rhythms and kind of miscellaneous. So it's a great book, and it is sort of the definitive. It's like what people use to say this is the way it was. It's fun, interesting sometimes when you go back and look in that book at, say, O'Carolan's Draft or O'Carolan's Concerto or any of those well-known ones, and then you go back to the version from the time, and it's different, and sometimes it doesn't quite make as much melodic sense. So it means that it was changed over the years by the people that played it, which is kind of interesting. Now, sometimes you go back and you look at those versions, and they're not that great. Like it doesn't grab your ear the same way the modern version does. Now, in my ear, I get used to it real quick because I'm a nerd for that type of thing. But for a regular, player, it might be hard to grab onto. Now, the George Brabazon here, that's bang on what everybody plays, except that everybody repeats the parts when they play George Brabazon.
Okay.
In the little jig, the first air, there are also no repeats, and I don't know what the usual is for that one because I had not heard it before. So I think we should do it without the repeats as written. But I think George Brabazon definitely is better repeated. Definitely. I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so here it is without the repeats. So that's it without repeats, and I find it really does move along too quickly. It like gets on with it when you're just getting used to that nice melody. So now I'll play it, since I'm recording anyway. Now I'll play it with the repeats and see what you guys think. Much better, I think. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I like it better.
I like
Repeated.
it better with repeats.
With repeats, yeah. So that's
Yeah.
the way we'll do it. Now, I think we'll start with that one because I've just played it like a bunch of times, so you probably already know it. If I've done my job up to this point. But first let's warm up. So it's in the key of G, and it's like really is, and I don't know if you noticed, but it uses 3 strings in the key of G. So we're not using the G string, but we're using all the others, and we're going all the way up to high B there. And although it's a slow air, that's when the high Bs get really, really nerve-wracking to play, right? When you have to play a long one. So we'll take our time and we'll get that. But let's first warm up with a nice G major scale. I'll put my tuner on and I will critique myself very harshly. There we go. Perfect. Okay. G major scale and then an arpeggio. 1, 2, 3, go. Arpeggio. Alrighty, so that was, I did really good, by the way. Now, I'm being pickier with myself lately, because one of my students, Keith, who's obsessed with the frequency numbers when he's trying to play in tune, we were doing an exploration with the tunable tuner set on the most advanced setting. How many cents does it go on one side or the other of the note in the green? And on this one, it's about 3 cents. Now, I told Jennifer that, and she said her tuner is less forgiving than that. I don't know if I believe her, but I'll have to investigate that myself. But so now I'm kind of obsessed, and I have to really... So a couple of my notes there were in the green, but they were on the left-hand side of it, and I had to bring it in. Okay? So let's try it again and give me a chance to redeem myself. There's a man walking down the street with a trombone. That's a good sign for the neighborhood. Okay, here we go. Ready? Go. High B. Now I snuck the high B in there on you. I realized partway through we should be going to the high B because in this tune we have to go from G to B, which is exactly that same move. Okay, so let's do the arpeggio that goes all the way up to high B, and I'll hold that B for a while to give you a chance to tune it. Okay, here we go. Arpeggiate. Ready? Go. let's do that again. Mine was really good. Ready, go. Now, how's that feeling? How do people like their high Bs? Are you okay with it? Do you feel all right about it? You don't mind playing it? Okay, cool. So now, let's see. George Brabazon. Let me play the first... Well, I'll just play the first part. It's short. And we'll do it phrase by phrase. So that's the first part. Now, the first phrase is the first two bars. And the second two bars, the second phrase, the idea is kind of flipped. The scale goes up instead of down. See that? And then the third phrase is a little different. So let's see if we can just get those first two bars. Very simple. D to G, scale down from C. And let's do it without the pickup notes to start with. So we're starting on beat 1 on the D. D quarter note. Okay. 1, 2, 3, go. Okay, is that making sense? And it's a low 2 for the key of G. Let's do it again. Without the pickup notes, starting on the D. 1, 2, 3, go. Okay, one more to be sure. Ready? Oh, actually, this time, let's add the pickup notes. So we're going to play the G to the E, and it's going to be in an up bow. So here we go. High G. Ready? 2, 3. Okay, did that go okay with the pickup? Good. Now the next part. E to the A, and then another A, up we go. Let's practice that a couple of times, starting on the E. 1, 2, 3, go. One more time to be sure. Ready, go. Okay, so now we'll put those two phrases together so that it makes sense melodically. And we'll do the pickup notes. G to the E in an up bow. 1, 2, 3. Now, the way it goes on, let's see if we can get those two bars. Okay, it starts on the E there, coming down the scale from E. Let's give it a try. And watch for your repeated notes. 1, 2, 3, go. let's try that again. Same thing. Ready, go. Okay, one more time just to be sure. Ready, go. Okay, now the last phrase of it is just a straight up scale, but it skips the 2. Skipping the F there. Let's try that. Starts on the B. Ready, go. Let's do it again. Same thing. Ready, go. It's like a pentatonic thing or something like that. Now, how's that fitting on the hand? Is it working out? Makes sense, eh? That's the nice thing about it. It all makes sense and resolves nicely. So now,
So smooth.
I know, I just love it. Now let's back up and let's start on the second line, second bar, that E scale down, and let's play from there till the end of the A part to join those two phrases. Okay, slowly. 1, 2, 3, go. That looked like everybody could do it. Let's do it again. Same exact thing from the E. 1, 2, 3, go. Okay, is that making sense? Not too hard, eh? 1600s music. It's pretty simple stuff. Man, I remember when I was in Ohio, I played with Jennifer's concert band that she was a part of at the university, a part of her degree. And the guy who led the band was a very arrogant man who knew nothing really about regular music. He asked me if a fiddle was actually a guitar. And I said, no, it's a violin. He was like, oh, and he wrote it down. And this guy is a master of music, right? And this Dr. Moss was his name. He was a kind of everybody kind of chuckled at him all the time. He had no ears at all, but he was the director of the band there for decades. And we did this piece called Minstrels of the Kells. But it was kind of cool. It had a place in the middle where it had what they called a pub band. Play 3 reels, and then the band kind of comes in afterwards. Really neat idea. And so it was me and these 2 people from Chicago that were playing these 3 reels. It's where I had to learn them backstage because, of course, I said yes to the gig. I'm like that with this business. It's like, can you come and play Irish? Totally, no problem at all. And then I get in there and 3 tunes I'd never heard before, and I had to learn them right there on the spot. But it was the Congress reel, really good tune. I played it so much since. The Chicago reel and Julia Delaney. Awesome tunes, but I had never heard of them. So I had to just learn them right there. But I remember in the rehearsal, we're rehearsing, and at one point the whistles, like the wind section, all got E-flat tin whistles for this one section. Now that's the smallest tin whistle you can get. Very high pitched. And they were all supposed to play this polka, simple polka. And of course they're having trouble. I mean, playing the tin whistle is hard. You know, like people work at it for years to get the breath control right. And they're all struggling. And the guy says, come on people, this is primitive music. And I thought Jennifer was going to throw her tuba at him. Like he was just so rude about it, you know? Anyway, Minstrels of the Kells. Okay, so I've distracted you enough. Let's try the whole A part. Okay. Here we go, and we're going to do it twice. 1, 2, 3. Again. Did that work out okay? It did? No weirdnesses or anything like that? Let's do it again. One, two, three. Again. Okay, that's the first part. Everybody getting that? No problem, eh? Now, the second part, we got to go up to the high B. And it's kind of, it sounds almost like a scale or exercise type of thing. You can go all the way down the scale that way if you wanted to. But O'Carolyn decides to stop at G. So we scale up to G, up to high B. And then we do this kind of 4-2-4. And then 3-1-3. And then 2 open 2. And then we go right down the scale. And the nice thing is that the next 2 bars are exactly the same as the second phrase in the first part. So we already know it. Okay, and then we do this again. Up we go to the high B. And then the same exact thing. See that? We already know that. Okay, so let's see if we can get this high part, because it's can be intimidating to play up high. So here's your G. So you can get it in tune. Yeah, okay. So we go up to the G. Ready? 2, 3. Do it again. So yeah, so the ending is not quite the same as the first part. It comes down the scale from C instead of it's in the first part. So slightly different, but then the last 7 notes are the same. Okay. Now, how did that go with the high stuff? Is it working considerably okay? Okay, let's do it again. Let's try it again. Is that slow enough? That's the other thing. We going slow enough? Okay. 1, 2, 3. Again. Any problems with any of that business?
I just find that my fingers are still stiff trying to reach the B and the A, just switching back and forth. I
Yeah.
guess that'll work itself out if I used it often enough.
Yeah, you have to use it. And now one of those notes that you use a lot more than the others in that little run up there is the A, right? The A we
Right.
use all the time. So if you keep that in the really familiar spot, then I find it makes it a little easier to get the other ones in tune.
Okay.
And also the A is a ringer. So if you're ringing, then you're in tune.
What do you mean by ringer?
So the high A rings when it's in tune, and it does not
Oh,
ring when it's out of tune.
okay. Very good. Yeah, I thought it meant that, but I needed to hear you say it.
The high A I find is one of the most ringy. See that? It's still going. My God, it's good fiddle. Okay, let's try it again. One more time. Oh, and I was going to say, since you're playing quarter note high Bs here, and you have 2 attempts at them each time, go ahead and tune it. So if you go like this, go ahead and put that all the way up until it's in tune before it's done, or at least try. You know what I mean? Because if you get into the habit of that, it's going to start coming down right the first try. So keep going ahead and trying to tune that, and I'll try my best to stay right in the middle so that you can tune to me, okay? One more try with the B part. Slow. 1, 2, 3. feeling all right? Okay, we'll try her right from the top now. All right. Oh, shake out the hand. That double step I'm always playing there at the beginning is a G and a D at the same time. So A3 and E2 at the same time. It's one of my faves. It's a fourth. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's a good one because it's either in tune. Whoa. Hold on now. Yeah. It's either in tune or out of tune. God, there's no mistaking when it's out of tune. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. big finish. I don't know if they did slideys like that back in 1630 or whenever it was. Hold on now. I always get this date wrong. I'm terrible with dates. 1670 to 1738. That's when he lived. So I don't know if they did slideys in 1690 or whenever it was, but I did some tonight. Anyway, how'd you guys get along with all that? Any problems? Yeah, it worked out okay? Excellent. All right.
Just the first bar on the last line. I always trip up. I don't know why.
The first row, the G and then E to G?
I want to skip. I want to do something else after the E.
So what
My
you're
brain
more,
wants to do
you're
something
more,
different. I don't know
you're more creative than O'Carolyn was, is what you're trying to say.
why.
You have a better idea.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. So there is a repeated G, and then it's back to the E. Now that is something that might catch me because it has the look like it should just scale down, but it skips the one. Maybe that'll help. I don't know. Or a few hundred times. Now I wouldn't mind trying it again because that's actually quite slow the way that we played it. Quite a bit slower than usual. I'll show you what the usual is. Man, I was listening to a gorgeous harper this weekend because I was in Chicago at this Irish wedding. And everybody in Irish music was there. It was so great to catch up with everybody, including, Eileen Gannon, who is from, I think it's Boston area. And she's a harper and a beautiful one. She's known all over the world. And she was playing the intro music for the wedding with a flute and a set of pipes. And it was gorgeous, man. So nice. And I'm really glad that Trump didn't call out the National Guard while I was there. It was very kind of him to wait for me to leave. So it usually goes about this quick. See that? You're almost dancing to it. I can see there now. So, and it's not hard. So I think we could probably do it. So let's give it a try. We'll do it 2 times. See if we can get that kind of a tempo going. Okay, little bit faster. 1, 2, 3. that go at that tempo? Was it okay? Still hanging in there? That's great. Excellent. Any questions or anything about the tune itself at all? Anything bothering you? I was just thinking about like, ornaments you can do. I always do a grace note there. And then I always do a grace note on the way down from C to B. See that? And I bet you they even did that in medieval times, or in 1690 or whatever. I think the grace note's been a while. And I do it every time. Now, on the high G there, I often do sort of a 1-2 punch. So, see that? Kind of lean into it from the F. And it's kind of neat. So, and also if you want, you can do a single cut on it at that time as well. And then, now the other place that I always put a grace note for anything I'm doing is when I go from 1 to open. So in the first bar of the third line, I'm going from 1 to open. See that? So that's nice to do and it's doable. You know, you might be able to get that in. Now in the second part, one way to kind of make the B a little easier on the ear is to do this little flutter. It's the same as what I did before. Just going from A to G. See that? It makes it just a little bit more gentle. So you just be lazy on the A and bring the B in if you want. And I do that every time. And that's the double stop you do. Now, in terms of double stops, anything in the key of G goes here. The octaves. See that? That's what the E string. See that? That was all with the E string there. Now, you see, this is a deep dive, I know, guys, but it's interesting. Do you see the middle bar of the second line, the B right before the high G? You can keep playing that B while you're playing the high G, and it makes a really nice double stop. See that? It's lovely. It's the third, I think. No, it's a sixth, yeah, which is the other way around. So, really nice when you hit it in tune there. Now, what else? So the last three notes of the part, you play that B, you can play it with an open D, and then you can play those G's, the D3s, with the open G to make octaves. See that? And you can do that in the second part too. Okay, and I don't really do very much in the second part because it's all about that high B. You can do that. Just like in the second phrase, the E string can go along with all that, but that's pretty well all I do. And then, of course, the last three notes, you can do the same move, B and open D, and G and open G. Octaves. Same move as in the first. Okay. So let's give her one more try, or two more tries, and we'll do the other one next week, but I'll play it before we're done. I'll give it a good go for the recording, because it's going to take a little bit more getting used to. Excuse me. we had Indian for supper because Jennifer's camping again because she's playing Annie all week and doing Kitchener-Waterloo services, so it's way too much driving. So she parked the tent trailer in near Stratford, and she's having just a great time. 20-minute drive, kicked back by the fire. So I got Indian for the kids tonight, and it was delicious, but we all ate way too much. Anyway, here we go. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Tried to add a few things in there for aspirational purposes. Now, let me play this tune before we're done here. This George Brabazon, the first air, so you can refer to it. Partying in 1690. Okay, guys, so we'll see you next week. Have a good one. Nighty night.